there are a ton of weapons that you can choose in Counter-Strike, and while most videos focus on the main guns like the AK, M4, or AWP, I'm going to cover one tip that you need to know for every gun in CS2. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 elo player on Faceit, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. We'll start with pistols, move on to SMGs, then the heavies like LMGs and shotguns, quickly cover guns like the Scout, Auto, FAMAS, and Galil, and finally move on to the main weapons like the M4s, AK, and AWP. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip you'd like. Now, the CZ75 has gotten nerfed and really old updates inside of CSGO, but this gun is still usable if you guys follow this tip. Or if I'm on the CT side of Dust 2 and I know that their B Tunnels lurk likes to play outside of tunnels just like Swisher does on M80, I could actually abuse this by getting into a spot where I'm guaranteed one kill and no one would trade me. So at the start of the round, I would literally just walk into Tuns for free, and I could just sit here right in this corner, wait for Swisher to activate, and I could just spray this guy down, get a free kill, and then I can just get away. Since the CZ only has 24 bullets, most of the time you're not going to have time to reload it at all since the reload time takes forever, which makes it really good to play in these spots where you can guarantee one kill. So the moral of this tip is just play in spots where you know you can get one kill, where someone usually defaults solo, and then that will give you a nice free rifle to help your team win the round. Now, one of the best pistols you can buy on Pistol Round is Duallies, and the reason these are so good is because the close range ability of these and the fire rate, where you can shoot these things so fast and just kill multiple opponents wherever it is. But the big tip that I want to explain with the Duallies on Pistol Round is you want to play with these in choke points. And what I mean by choke points is like somewhere over here towards cat or mid doors, where a lot of players will seem to pressure or try to go out. This right here is a nice good choke point where you can just spray down as many opponents as you want. And also the mobility of the Duallies is really good for movement as well. So the 5.7 is one of the best eco round guns that you can buy on the CT side. What makes it really good is the armor penetration of this gun and the rate of fire. You can shoot this gun really fast if you do have a nice trigger finger, because the rate of fire is so quick. But also the cool thing about the 5.7 that I don't see a lot of people doing is spamming it. So the tip is to spam the 5.7, but understand it does have a recoil pattern. So if I was sitting here and spam, you can see my bullets are just going up into the air. So when you do spam the 5.7, you want to make sure that you're pulling down, because you can see the bullets are going right above my crosshair. Now, a lot of people already know about the Glock, and a lot of people like to just running shoot because of the running accuracy, but something that a lot of people forget to use is the burst fire. Now, a lot of people don't use this because they think it's bad, but one good thing you could use the burst fire for is the close range ability. So if I was coming out entering towards B and I knew someone was sitting here towards car, instead of me just trying to spam 3 bullets as fast as I can, I could just right click and just burst fire this guy and also abuse my running accuracy, because the running accuracy with the burst is going to be just the same as if I didn't have burst on, just trying to spam as fast as I can. So it's very good to abuse the burst in close range. If you know you can't get 3 bullets off in time, just switch it to burst by hitting your right click and just kill this guy with 3 instant bullets. Now, the USP has a silencer, which might make it hard for your opponents to know exactly where you are. So when you are using the USP, it's very important that not only are you going to be aiming for headshots, but you want to play in places where you can also get cover, because if these people started to come up cat and I laid 2 bullets on them and just instantly hide, these people running up cat might not even know that I'm ramped. They could think that I'm sitting around car, maybe even goose, and just try to guess where I am. A lot of newbie players don't really understand audio cues or understand angles. This will give you a really good upper hand advantage in these duels, and also just playing these headshot angles can help against Glocks if you do have a USP, but just playing in places that you do have the cover where you can kind of be a silent ninja will definitely help you a lot more in rounds to get more kills with the USP. The range on the P250 is really good, so with the accuracy, as you can see at this distance, all my bullets are pretty much going to the center of my crosshair if I'm spraying at a nice good rate. So this is a really good gun to buy on an eco round, even on the CT side. Now on the CT side, don't make the mistake of buying it on Pistol Round, because your USP and P2K one tap just the same. So make sure you aren't buying it, because a lot of noobs do that, but just opt in to buy the P250 on an eco round and see if you can punish anyone without head armor. Now, the R8 revolver isn't a pistol that a lot of people buy, but the best tip I can give is to time your shots carefully, because you don't want to be caught out with the R8 where you have to sit here and hold down mouse 1. And what I see a lot of people do is just spam the left click button. Now, this audio cue will be heard in game, but this will help you time your shots more accurately, because if you're just sitting here spamming and then you do see an opponent, you don't have to wait as long. Instead of me just, if I see the opponent, I have to sit here and just try to kill him. Now with the Tech 9, you want to make sure that you are utilizing the mobility that this gun has to offer. I see so many times people trying to entry out on a B and just counter strafe trying to tap with a Tech 9. And what you should be doing is just sprinting out, not counter strafing at all, just spamming the Tech 9, because the running accuracy and the mobility that this gun has is insane. Now the cool thing about the Tech 9 is you want to make sure that you are trying to go for those close range duels, where if I know CTs are in a cat setup, I just want to literally drive by and just kill this guy playing on this angle, because the thing that I'm doing is I'm dragging his crosshair and he's going to have to try and track me, and he actually just has to sit still to be able to shoot me. Well, I can literally just run around around like a headless chicken while he sprays at me, and I can get a nice free easy kill. So everyone knows the Deagle is a one-tap machine, but what some people don't do is they don't master the recoil. And what I mean by that, there's a nice rhythm to go with the Deagle that will make your bullets go directly where your crosshair is aiming, because there's a lot of noobs that will literally just sit here and spam the Deagle like this, and their bullets just go everywhere. So if you guys can just master tapping the Deagle like this, you'll notice that your bullets will go a lot straighter if you can just master this. Now, if you're an anchor, I would really recommend switching to the P2K so you guys can utilize the extra bullet inside of the magazine. Now, also one thing with the P2K that a lot of my teammates have even mentioned is that it's almost like a Glock with the running shoot ability, and since it has one extra bullet than the USP, you're also going to be able to get one more kill than you usually would, because the USP has 12 bullets while the P2K actually has 13. Quickly before we move on to SMGs, let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. The favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that is equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, Skins Monkey, for sponsoring this video. Now, this is the most common SMG on the T side in Counter-Strike, and it is the MAC-10. Now, the best thing you can do with the MAC-10 is just pretty much scout out areas of the map that might be free to take map control. And what I mean by this is if I hear the CTs taking long on Dust 2, all I would do to clear cat is just jump around like this and make sure I'm really using the mobility of the gun, because the running accuracy and the jumping accuracy of this gun is so accurate that you really don't ever have to stand still, which is why you probably get killed by this a lot by noobs just literally just running down like this with the MAC-10, because you don't even really have to aim at all. You just have to understand the recoil of the MAC-10 to be able to shoot. Now, the MP5 is not the best SMG that you could buy, but one thing that you can definitely abuse on this is by playing just close range angles like it's a normal SMG, where we're not trying to take any long range duels. We're not trying to burst at anyone. We just want to make sure that we're playing these closer duels like in lower tons, where we can really maximize the silencer for how quiet the gun shoots. Since it does have a suppressor, a lot of people might know where you are, but you can definitely get the jump on people if you can aim at the head and just make sure that you are the first to attack. Now, if you do find yourself on eco round on the CT side or even the T side, buying the MP7 can actually be good, because something that the MP7 does that the MP9 doesn't is the range ability on this gun. The MP9, like, yeah, you can burst, but this gun actually has really good range, and you can really abuse it by depending on where you're playing on the maps. But if you do find yourself taking a lot of range duels on whatever part of the map you're playing, buying the MP7 can definitely help you over the MAC-10 or the MP9. Now, the MP9 is the most popular SMG on the CT side, and the reason why it's so popular is because it's pretty much the same thing as the MAC-10. This gun has a lot of mobility and the jumping accuracy is crazy, but one tip that I want to give you guys is to make sure that if you are dueling at a long range with the MP9, that you're simply just bursting instead of trying to just spray someone down. Even though the fire rate is really good and you guys know to play close range duels with the MP9, when you are at a distance, simply just bursting can help you guarantee a lot of kills. Now, the PP-Bison is the gun that I never see anyone buy, but if you do want to buy this gun, it's best against unarmored opponents because it has 64 bullets and the running accuracy is just as good as any SMG. Since it does barely any damage, if you do find this gun fun to play with, it's really good against people that don't have any armor at all. Now, the P90 is definitely the best noob gun in the game. I remember when I was in silver, everyone would literally just main the MP9, but one awesome thing about the MP9 is the amount of bullets that it has, which means it's really good for spraying down multiple opponents. So if my team decided to rush B, buying an MP9 in reality isn't that big of a troll, because you could just run out tons like this and just run and spray so many opponents. You can even hard clear different spots with the amount of bullets you have, and the running accuracy of this gun is really amazing as well. Even though this is kind of a troll gun, you can definitely abuse it where it's not necessarily a troll at all if you know you're going to be running into multiple players with just pistols. Now, the UMP used to be a really good SMG before they nerfed the armor penetration, but the best tip I can give for you guys is to just aim for the upper body with the UMP, because it still has decent armor penetration to kill someone, and the recoil isn't that hard to control, but aiming around the upper body will help you, because since the recoil is so easy to control, all you have to do is just pull down just a tiny bit and it should just land a nice easy headshot. So I would really recommend you guys go and try out the UMP and then comment down below how well it works for you. Now, the Mag 7 is pretty much a nice surprise shotgun, and a good example is if someone was playing on the A side of Dust 2, I could literally just jump up and just kill this guy by maybe luckily just hitting him on the first jump, or like I did with the second. The jumping accuracy is so insane on this gun. Now we're going to get into the heavy weapons, and we're going to start with the Nova. Now, this is a really good shotgun to use, even though it doesn't shoot as fast as you would want it to shoot. You can't hold mouse 1 with this gun, where if I were to just literally hold mouse 1, it's not going to shoot again like some other shotguns. But the cool thing about this gun is the one-shot potential, where if I was to sit on cat and I knew only one person took cat every round, me sitting sitting here can definitely guarantee a one-shot kill with the Nova, because as you can see the bullet spread, I can get at least 4 bullets right where the head is on the player. So if you have at least some decent aim, just using the shotgun and aiming at the head can definitely guarantee you a nice one-shot kill with it. So the sawed-off is probably the least popular shotgun, and the only tip I can give for this one is literally just playing close range duels like we keep talking about in lower, or maybe you want to play close outside of the long house right here and just hopefully kill people running out. This shotgun isn't really anything special. I would say it's most similar to the XM, so I wouldn't really recommend using this gun, but if you do want to use it, just make sure you're playing these close spots, or maybe even trying to play hidden spots like by blue outside of long, so then you can just guarantee your nice free kill, and then you're probably going to just get instantly traded. So now we're on to the XM, which my friends and I call the Gator. This shotgun is very OP because unlike the Nova, I can actually just hold left mouse and it will just automatically shoot, and it has a nice high rate of fire. So forget everything we talked about with the Nova, because this shotgun you can play in spots where you know you're going to get traded, because if someone decides to swing me on cat, I can literally just hold left mouse and just keep strafing and just mowing down any opponent that tries to come into my crosshair. Now the M249 is the least popular heavy weapon inside of Counter-Strike, just like the sawed-off, where not a lot of people are buying it. But if you are someone that likes to use this gun, make sure you're using it as an anchor, because if someone decided to rush out B, I can literally just sit here and just spray him down with my 100 bullets, just either guaranteeing a lot of damage or even guaranteeing some kills. The worst part about this gun is the recoil, but if you do master the recoil, playing in these anchor positions can help you a lot. Now I'm going to say the same exact thing that I did say for the M249 with the Negev, but what makes this gun a lot better is the recoil, and this makes it so much better than the M249 because it has extra bullets and the recoil is so much easier to control, where after the gun kind of spurts left to right, you can see I can literally just hold mouse 1, not even moving my mouse, and my bullets are going exactly straight. This makes it very good for a nice anchor gun, or maybe you just think a line is really hard to hold, like right here on ramp, where you could just mouse 1 this gun and just simply hold left click, and anyone peeking cat will just instantly die because they're peeking into the Negev spray, and it's only $1,700, which actually makes it buyable on some low buy rounds. Now the FAMAS recently just got updated, and it actually got buffed a little bit because this gun is pretty much just like another good rifle that you can buy. Now since it's not as expensive, and maybe if you're someone who doesn't want to buy an MP9, the FAMAS is really good, but the tip that I need to give you guys is to learn the recoil. So if I were to shoot at this wall right here, you're gonna see that the recoil isn't really hard to control at all, because all you have to do is just aim down to the left and then go to the right, and then just swiftly go left to right a little bit depending on how long you're spraying. Now the Galil is a really good gun to buy if you are on low money, because it's not actually that expensive. It's almost $1,000 less than an AK, so it's really good to buy if you're someone that buys utility. But the most important thing about the Galil is that you guys need to be comfortable in buying this on a low buy round, and a good example is if I'm on T side on any map and we do get the plant but we lose the round, it's going to guarantee us that we can actually buy Galils and armor next round. So when we are playing in a actual match, chances are we have the better guns in the round, which is why you guys need to be comfortable buying it, because in instances that you guys do get the plant on T side but you do lose the round, having the better weapons is really good. So understanding on how to use the Galil is very important. Now with the M4A4, this gun is really good if you're an anchor, just like if you're using the P2000. The extra bullets do help, but also the rate of fire is something to keep in mind. So if you are someone who finds yourself always playing by yourself on the CT side, I would start buying the M4A4 just to guarantee yourself some more extra room to just spam through smokes a little bit. Or maybe if you find yourself whipping on enemies, you want to make sure that you are having these extra bullets instead of using the A1S. So not only is this gun easy to use with the recoil pattern, but the biggest tip I can give is to use it if you are anchoring a site or if you find yourself being by yourself most of the time. Now if you are someone who doesn't like the A4 but loves the A1S, the best tip I can give for you is to actually spam some smokes. Now the reason you want to spam smokes with the A1S is because there's no tracers when you shoot the gun. So when you are spamming through smokes, the only thing that the T's can actually see is the bullet holes in the smoke and not actually see a direct line of where you're shooting. Where if you were someone that wanted to use the A4, it's going to have tracers coming through, as you can see on your screen. So anyone across the smoke can get a direct line of where I am spamming. So now we have the AUG, and this gun is kind of underbought because obviously they're going to be larger on my screen. And if you're someone that plays a stretched res, they're going to be even larger than what they are if you are playing 16:10 or 16:9. So if you do want to buy the AUG, the best tip I can give for you is to abuse the long range, but also try to play headshot angles as well. So if I was a CT on ramp holding towards cat, me holding this angle gives me such a good advantage because I can literally just sit here and shoot this guy, and it gives me a higher chance at winning this duel just because I have this scope. So now we have the SG553, aka the Krieg, and what makes this gun important to use is if you are an opper and you don't have enough money for an op, because since this gun has a scope, it makes it already kind of OP. But the one-shot headshot, it almost makes it like an automatic automatic scout, where you can just pretty much spam inside of the scope and just guarantee yourself getting an easy kill. But the most important thing is you just want to make sure that you are taking longer range duels, because you can really abuse the scope just like the AUG, and you will have the higher percentage duel if you are taking the long range duels. Just like if I got into pit and I wanted to scope in on site, this duel is the easiest duel that you can literally take with the Krieg, and the person on site probably just has a rifle, so he's going to be aiming on a shot that's really hard for him to hit, and you should just have the upper hand when he decides to peek back sight like this. Now the SSG08, aka the scout, is pretty much the same thing with the op, is to take these long range duels, because you don't want to be, somewhere up close, where the op, like, you could use it almost like a shotgun, where you could just sit here, scoped up or taking angles like this for a good first round kill. But with the scout, you have to aim for the head, so taking this duel is kind of okay with the op, but with the scout, it's going to be very hard to hit since you have to aim for the head. Like if I'm playing over here towards game helper and they're running up cat, I can miss a shot, just fall back to another angle and just keep falling back with cover, so I'm actually able to miss shots. So as long as you're aiming for the head and taking these long range duels where you can fall back with a scout, you guys should be golden. So the SCAR 20, aka the auto sniper on the CT side, is really good for either spamming doors, or if you think someone might be opting towards suicide or running down, you can get some good spams off. But the best tip I would give for using this gun is to use it in anchor positions, just like we would with using the P2000 or the M4A4, because this gun, not only does it have its scope where you can play in these far back positions, but since you can spam it so fast and how accurate it is, you actually get a lot of good free easy kills, where if your teammates can set you up properly on a site, you should be able to get at least 3 just using this gun. And even the no scope accuracy is pretty good on this gun as well, where if you understand where your crosshair is, you should be getting a lot of kills without even using the scope. Now the G3SG1, or the auto sniper for the T side, is really good to just pretty much spam, because especially on a map like Dust 2, where people are always crossing through these doors, you can just sit here and layer spams on anyone crossing, and not only will you do free damage, but you could also luckily just get a kill. But if you do ever find yourself extra money, it's definitely a good tip to just say, hey guys, I'm gonna buy this and spam the doors, where you're trying to do damage on anyone crossing or getting a nice free kill, and then after you can just pick your AK back up and just play a normal round. Now the best tip I can give with the AK is to aim for the neck, and the reason is, if you look at the hitboxes of a player, his hitbox is actually where his neck is. So too many times people will be trying to aim for the head and be aiming up here, when in reality this could end up being bad, because it's a lot harder target to hit. And what I mean by that is, if this bot decides to just move, my crosshair would be off him and I wouldn't have anywhere to actually shoot him, where if I was aiming at the neck and he did decide to move, you would see I'd be aiming around the shoulder. But also this tip is very important, because the recoil of the AK is going to go up just a little bit, so even if I were to just pull down the recoil a tiny bit, you can see my bullets are going to just go up a little bit, which would guarantee that I get a nice clean headshot on this guy in front of me. Is the op. Now the best tip I can give for you guys with the op is to take long range duels, and it's the same reason why you would take long range duels with the Krieg, like we talked about earlier, and that's just taking these duels that makes it hard for riflers to actually aim, because you're such a small target. So like in pit, holding top sight like this person that is top sight is going to be very easy to hit for me. Same thing over here if I want to opt towards B. On the CT side, just playing back plat, playing this headshot angle, I could just sit here and keep shooting and re-peeking, because not only can I just randomly pop up at whatever spot, it's going to be very hard for them to hit me because I'm just such a small target. So when you do have an op, make sure you're not taking too many close range duels. Just make sure you're trying to just duel as far as you can, and you'll notice that you're not going to die even if you do whiff an easy shot. Now for the melee weapons, we obviously have the knife, and then we also have the Zeus. Now for the knife, it's very important that you guys understand how the knife works, where if I do have a player sitting in front of me, obviously just left, right, that is a instant death for him. You never want to just do multiple lefts or just instant rights where it takes too slow. The best combo to kill someone with a knife is to just go left, and then right. And then obviously if you are behind someone, you guys want to make sure that you are just instant right clicking them, because it is a free instant kill. Now the cool thing about the Zeus is pretty much the same exact thing with the knife, which is why I'm putting them into the same little tip. You want to be in a position, which is a position where a player might go solo. I just want to make sure I'm at a reasonable distance where I can actually hit with the Zeus and just get the nice insta kill, pick up the gun, and then help my teammates fight anyone taking the A site. If this video helped you, make sure to check out these 10 aim tips in CS2.